For 4 years when I was in exile, unfairly, as it turns out. Rigged election, he knows about rigged elections better than anybody. But when I was in exile, we were still friends.
What
That's
the
always
fuck?
a good way to find.
Hold on, sorry. I know it's like 5 fucking seconds in, but chillax, buddy. You lost an election. Okay, chillax. It's not fucking exile. You're not the Shah.
Now, test of friendship, but he's a highly respected man. He's respected very much in his country and all throughout Europe and throughout the world where they know him. He's built a tremendous military, powerful military, uses a lot of our equipment. And it's an honor to have him.
I almost didn't get the dad on Family Guy. That would have been a disaster. The lowest moment of my crossword career.
At the White House, we're going to have a lunch together. We're going to have a discussion, big discussion. We do a lot of trade with Turkey, and we're going to continue. We're going to do some additional trade. They want to buy F-16s, F-35s, and some other things, and we're going to talk to them about that. And we're just going to have, I think, a very interesting couple of hours. We're going to get a lot done. But I have great respect for this man, and we've had a very good relationship for a long time. If you remember, he led Pastor Brunson. He freed Pastor Brunson. Pastor Brunson was put in jail for 35 years before I got there. This was a group that should have stopped it. And the president, after I called him, released him, which was a great thing for our Christian community, our evangelical community, the evangelical.
Is the fucking strategy of the MAGA movement and Republicans going into the midterm and the next election to evangelize and make everybody super, super Christian? Like, I don't know if you guys saw the memorial, but that was above and beyond in terms of evangelicalism. Is that their plan going forward? That's a source crack pipe theory, but they're really leaning into it. And Trump is not like an especially religious guy, but I just find it odd about this uptick in like evangelical catering. I don't know. Willing to hear thoughts on that.
Really wanted that. It was very important to him, so I always remembered that. But he released him from 35 years in prison. And Pastor Brunson now is healthy, happy, and well. And we're very happy about that. But it's a great honor to have the president of Turkey with us. And how are you?
Fine.
Say a few words.
Fine.
Great guy.
Öncelikle bu ziyaretimizi Birleşmiş Milletler Genel Kurulu'yla iç içe olan bir dönemde gerçekleştirdiğimizden dolayı arkadaşlarımla beraber çok mutluyuz.
Wait here.
Gerek Sayın Trump'ın birinci döneminde gerekse ikinci dönemde Türkiye-Amerika ilişkilerinde farklı bir süreci yaşıyoruz. Kendilerinin de az önce ifade ettiği gibi gerek F-35 konusu, gerek F-16 konusu, gerekse Halk Bankası'yla ilgili aramızdaki ilişkiler konusunu bugün etraflıca görüşme fırsatı bulacağımıza inanıyorum. Heybeliada okuluyla ilgili ise orada üzerimize ne düşerse biz onu zaten yapmaya
Disney character who asks, "Have you ever met a shark?"
Sayın Bartolomeo'yla bu konuyu görüşme fırsatı
Nemo?
olacak.
First, Mr. President, I am very pleased that this visit actually coincides with the 80th UNGA. So I am very pleased to be here with my colleagues and friends. And as we have said, during the first term of your presidency and during your second term, we are able to carry Turkey and U.S. relations to a much different level and process. And as you said, we have an opportunity here today to be able to discuss some of the issues regarding the F-35, the F-16, and also the Halkbank case, and we will have an opportunity to thoroughly discuss them. And based on what you have mentioned regarding the Heybeli Ada School, we are ready to do whatever we can that falls on our part, and I will, when I get back, try to discuss this issue with the esteemed Mr. Bartholomos to discuss how we can move forward on that.
Okay, very good. I would like to be able to do that. The Greek Orthodox Church was here, and they would really like to have some help. They need some help, and I said I'd mention it, and we appreciate it. So this is a tough man. This is a guy who's highly opinionated. Usually I don't like opinionated people, but I always like this one. But he's a tough one, and he does an amazing
that would be the president of Turkey, Erdogan.
job in his country. And we've
God,
had
look how
tremendous
fucking
relationships,
gaudy
both having to do
all
with
this
war and having to
shit
do with
is back here
trade.
behind him.
And I guess today we're talking about both. I'd like to have him stop buying
Right
any
here,
oil
look at
from Russia while
White
Russia
House.
continues this
Our
rampage
Oval Office before and
against
after Trump.
Ukraine. And they've been fighting. They've lost millions of lives already. And for what? You know, for what? It's disgraceful.
Okay, wait
And
to
I
see.
said yesterday,
Please don't tell me he's going back on his support for Ukraine. Please.
let it keep going because their economy is absolutely terrible right now. And I think it's a shame that they're doing that, killing a lot of people unnecessarily.
Yeah, this is before and this is
7,818
after.
people were killed last week. Most
I don't know. I hope to God never. The way I see it, there's three options, right? First option, which is the worst, is he flips back and starts like trying to win Putin's heart again. That's the worst option. The second option is he doesn't do anything. He doesn't get in the way of the shipments of weapons we've already promised to Ukraine and continues to sell weapons to NATO, which is an affront in and of itself because like we are fucking NATO and he's trying to profit off this war. Third option, which is the best, is he's like, you know what? We're going to expedite these weapons contracts. We're sending as much as we can over to Ukraine ASAP. That's what I would prefer. But I'm hoping, but not counting on the fact that he's gonna. Yeah, I think number two is most likely, but number one, I'd say two is most likely, flipping back is second most likely, and then boosting support is the least likely, unfortunately.
military people, their people, and Ukrainians.
But
More Russians, actually.
TBD.
than Ukraine,
TBD.
A little bit more. But it's such a waste of human life.
holy shit,
And so we ought to stop.
they're sabotaging
Putin
him
stop.
again, just like at the UN. They
And
turned
with
him
that,
into 2
we'll get
pixels.
to a little bit of a discussion. We're going to make some great trade deals for both countries. We do a lot of business
Yeah.
with Turkey. They build great products. They build beautiful,
But I
great
think
products.
he just I think Trump failed to realize that Putin's ambitions don't start and end with the U.S. He does just genuinely want Ukraine. And nothing Trump would have said or done other than military support to Ukraine would have stopped that.
Really fantastic manufacturers, and we buy a lot from them, and they buy a lot from us.
Also, how's my
would
mic?
you
Should it
have
be
any
quieter,
questions,
louder? Too much gain, not enough gain.
You repeatedly called out Obama and Biden administrations for their stupid decisions. One example you gave was refusal to sell the Patriot missile defense systems to Turkey, which resulted in the expulsion of the country from the F-35 program.
Maybe.
Now, you are known to
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I do think he thought Putin respected him and saw him as a friend. And we all know that Putin just saw him as a useful idiot where he could just continue his campaign in Ukraine. And Trump, like, however many years later, is starting to come around to that idea, which, fine. Like, I guess better late than never, but better sooner than later.
in Turkey. What can you do to undo the stupidity? Yes, CNN show.
CNN? Well, because you sounded like a nice guy, but CNN is fake news. But you sound like the
You're
real deal
so
to me,
funny,
I'll
Mr.
answer the
Trump.
question. We're going to be discussing the Patriot system, which is the best system. We'll discuss that. We're going to discuss the F-35. We'll be discussing all of the things that you know about and that some of that you mentioned. And I think he'll be successful with buying the things he'd like to buy.
What concrete steps can you take?
Well, we'll have to see. We haven't even started yet. But I know he wants the F-35.
Yeah, that would have been
and he's wanted
possibly a
that,
big
and we're
brain
talking
move.
about that very seriously. And the
Yeah.
F-16, we're in great shape.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you're right.
Certain other things he needed, as
But
you know, and I'm going
fuck
to
Putin.
see to it that
What a
we
pussy.
get that to him. He needs certain things, and we need certain things. And we're going to come to a conclusion. You'll know by the end of the day. Go ahead, please.
Mr. President.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım, siz Başkan Trump'ın ne kadar barış için çabalar gösterdiğini daha önce de söylemiş bir cumhurbaşkanısınız. Ve siz de bölgede birçok ülkeyle, birçok liderle görüşmeler, kontaklar kurabiliyorsunuz. Bu konuda birlikte nasıl çalışabilirsiniz gelecekte?
Buna inandığım için zaten bunları söylüyorum. Birlikte el ele bölgedeki bu sıkıntıları aşacağımıza da inanıyorum.
Mr. President, on tariffs, Mr. President.
When are you planning
Because
to
I haven't learned
lift
this language yet. What did he say?
The gentleman was asking, Mr. President, you have referred to President Trump's peace efforts, and you have also contact with many leaders in the region. And what do you think that you can do about this? And Mr. President has said that, yes, I believe in the peace efforts that President Trump is leading, and together we will be able to overcome the challenges in the region.
I think it's true. He's got tremendous influence in the region. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, when are you planning to lift CAATSA sanctions against Turkey?
Against sanctions against Turkey?
CAATSA.
Could be very soon. If we have a good meeting, almost immediately.
President Erdogan
Yeah.
is removing tougher sanctions.
Well, the unique thing about, or I don't know if it's unique, I think what the differentiator is, Putin doesn't need or really care about the world's admiration. I want to say I think Putin's goals are solely his own. I think in contrast to Trump, Trump wants to be seen as like a worldwide strongman. Like he still views the world as like areas of influence and their leaders. And it's a world of strongmen. And so that's why he respects Erdogan. That's why he respects I can't remember the other guy's name, but people like Putin, people like Xi Jinping, even Kim Jong-un. He respects these like dictatorial strongmen because that's kind of where his worldview ends. So while Putin doesn't need or care about the admiration of people like Trump, Trump really wants to be seen as a peer to these people. But yeah, they're both huge egotists. I just think there's different ways that plays out.
Erdogan is removing tariffs on U.S. goods, and what impact it would be in U.S. production?
Where are you from?
Turkey.
I see. We have a lot of people from Turkey here.
It's almost like you have the fucking Turkish president! Whatever.
That's
We are
good. Because I like the
resident
questions
journalists
very much, actually. They're very nice questions. We'll see about tariffs. We're going to be talking about tariffs.
We already removed them.
Well, we're going to be talking about that.
Sanctions on Russia, even if not all NATO countries stop purchasing Russian oil?
We're going to be seeing about that. The NATO countries were disappointing in that regard, but they've been very amazing in other ways. They did, as you know, they went from 2% to 5% GDP, and that's a big step, and it's paid. I mean, they have the money there.
Storm.
We're selling a tremendous amount of military equipment to NATO. We're selling. We're not giving like Biden did. We're selling it
You know why we gave? Because we're in a fucking alliance, you dipshit.
to NATO, and it's a lot. They're buying a lot, and I assume they're giving it to Ukraine. They could buy it for other reasons too, but I assume they're giving most of it to Ukraine. But they're buying highly sophisticated weaponry, and they're paying for it full price. And that's how we're involved. Biden gave $350 billion. Look, this war would have never started if I were president. If I were president, this war would never be happened. Would have never happened. Yeah.
Mr. President, I would like to ask about Gaza. Are you on the same page, Mr. Erdogan, for Palestine, Israel?
Well, I don't know his stance. I can't tell you about that. I just say that we want to get Gaza over with. I had a great meeting with the leaders of that area, of that region, generally speaking, the Middle East. We had a great meeting the other day at UNGA, as you know, and I think we're close to getting some kind of a deal done. Yeah, we want to get the hostages back. I have to get the hostages back. We're the ones that got the hostages, all of them that we have now. But it looks like there are 20 living hostages and probably 38 or so dead hostages. Pretty sad. And the parents of those dead souls, those dead,
You ever have a
mostly
coffee
men,
that's kinda
boys,
nutty?
in many cases like literally
Quite good.
boys. They want those bodies back so badly, as much as though they were alive. And so
Anaheim
we had a very good
ball
meeting with
players.
the
It's not the Anaheim
representatives
Ducks,
of
the
the most
Anaheim-
powerful countries in the Middle East, and I think we're going to be close to a deal.
Any solution, Mr. President?
That's how I need to call on chatters. Whenever there's a high engagement moment, I'll call out a name. That's how I'll do chat from now on.
We've noticed that in the Ukrainian war and during the Israeli-Iran war, the airspace
God, that
of
was
the NATO
loud.
countries is very fragile, and it needs to be stronger. And in that sense, Turkey being the second largest army in NATO, it needs to support its air force and air defense. How do you look at this issue in general as a NATO?
Well, we support
Because
them. I
it's
mean,
the eastern flank of
Yeah, we're in NATO, and you know, they're paying now 5% of GDP. Nobody thought that was possible, and they agreed to that 6 months ago when I was there. And the relationship is very good. The NATO countries are, I mean, with us, is the strongest it's ever been. We used to complain that they're paying 2%, but they're not paying. The United States was paying almost everything. And now they're paying 5%, and they paid. And that's trillions of dollars. You know, we're talking about trillions of dollars. And they're spending that, giving that money to us, and we are giving them great defensive, you know, the Patriots and all of the different
Yeah, they pay.
javelins, all the different missile systems and everything else that they want. But it's, you know, it's trillions of dollars. So we appreciate that they did that. So they went from 2% to 5% of GDP, and that was something that
Wasn't
nobody even would
Poland
bring
already
up.
above?
Biden should have brought it up a long time ago, because under Biden, we paid
God, I remember having this
$350 billion
argument like
and-
at the very beginning of Trump too, and it was like, yeah, could European countries contribute more? Probably, but in terms of like the right we have by contributing the most is that we kind of have the final say. By reaching parity with everyone else, we have the same amount of say. So I don't think it's a bad move to have Europe bolster their defense. I think that's good. I think that's good for Europe. But the trade-off for that is that we do lose a lot of say in the conduct of NATO.
And all it did is make things worse. So we'll see how.
F-35s to Turkey, fighter jets, F-35s.
Yeah, we're talking about the fighter jets for Turkey. Yes, we are.
Are we going to see any step is going to be taken today about the issue? What things are going on in the Gaza, Palestine? Are we going to
It could be today. Yeah, could be today. We have a very strong dialogue going on with Saudi Arabia. With, I would say, you have 4 or 5 real
Opposite.
leaders
I
that
thought it would
are
just be
being
go.
good. As you know, I met with Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE. We met with Jordan. The King of Jordan was there. We had a really great meeting. I think a lot was determined at that meeting, and I have to meet with Israel, and I have to do that
Yeah,
also.
I mean,
They know.
and hey, good for Europe. Like, a strong Europe, I think, is a good thing for the world. Like, it's a lot more, I guess, decentralized than the U.S., because, as we can see, the attitude of the U.S. can change on a whim. So having a level of independence is probably pretty good for Europe, and just for, like, the liberal world order. Like, I'm not against it.
What I want, And I think we can get that one done. I hope we can get it done. A lot of people are dying. But we want the hostages back. We don't want them back, one this week, one in 2 months from now, 3 later, and like the way it's been going. We got them all back. We got a lot of them back. We got the American Alexander. We got the American hostages back. But we have now 20 plus 38 bodies, dead bodies. And we want them all back, and we want them back at one time.
President Erdogan will help to release the hostages?
Do I think what?
Do you think President Erdogan will help to release the hostages?
I don't know if he'll help in that. I don't really think we have. I don't think it'll be necessary in this case. I think we're going to be in a pretty good position. There are a lot of people that want that done. I met with great leaders. Look, you saw the people that were there, and great leaders. Egypt was also represented. We met with the leaders of that part of the world, and they want to see if they can get something done. And I'm going to have to tell Israel, let's go. We want to get the hostages back. Everybody wants to see that war over with, by the way. Everybody. So we're going to see what happens.
Mr. President,
how do you see a joint initiative with President Erdogan to bring the President of Russia, Putin, and President Zelensky to the negotiating table?
Well, I can tell you that President Erdogan is very respected by both of them. Everybody respects Erdogan. They really respect Erdogan. I do. And I think he could have a big influence if he wants to. Right now, he's very neutral. He likes being neutral. So do I like being neutral. But he's somebody that if he got involved, the best thing he could do is not buy oil and gas from Russia. If he did that, that would be probably the best thing. He knows Putin like I know Putin. I thought Putin, I settled, as you know, 7 wars, and it's probably more than that.
Blasts loudly are? Am I missing something?
The real facts, but 7 wars, and I thought this would be among the easier ones to settle.
7 wars.
But I'm very disappointed in Putin. And he's been fighting hard. He's been fighting.
Remember the classic war of Albania? Or no. Yeah, he said Albania and Azerbaijan.
And they lost millions. They lost like 1 million soldiers. And with all of the heavy bombardment over the last 2 weeks, they've gained almost no land. Think of that. They've gained almost no land.
True.
And I'm not going to ever call anybody a paper tiger. But Russia spent millions and millions of dollars in bombs, missiles, ammunition, and lives. Their lives.
That number, brother.
And they've gained virtually no land.
Aren't Russian casualties up to like 800,000 or 1 million estimated? I know there's like 100-ish thousand confirmed, but someone should double check me on that.
I think it's time to stop. I really do.
What a great idea!
A few months ago, you met with Aliyev and Pashinyan. Can you follow up?
So where?
You met with Aliyev and Pashinyan, Azerbaijan President Aliyev and Pashinyan. Can you follow up on what you want to say about current process?
No, I can't. I like this guy. I like him. He's from CNN. Fake news, the worst fake news, but I like him. So it's CNN Turkey.
What are we doing?
Go.
Syria has been a major issue between the 2 countries for the past decade. And you said the future of Syria is in Erdogan's hands back in, I think, December and January. And the countries are in the process of integrating without fractures into the main government. When do you want to see that happen?
Well, I think President Erdogan is the one responsible for Syria, for the successful fight in ridding Syria of its past leader. And I think this man is responsible. He doesn't take the responsibility, but it's actually a great achievement. They've been trying to do it for 2,000 years. I said, he does it. He did it. I mean, they're your surrogates. I think you should take the credit for it. I told him take the credit. For 2,000 years, you've been trying to take over Syria. He took over Syria, and he doesn't want to take the credit. You know, all of those people are his surrogates.
Wait,
But the leader of Syria, the new leader, as you know, I took sanctions.
Hold on. Did I miss something?
The responsibility. It's past the successor Erdogan is
main government in the process of integrating little fractures into the main government. When do you want to see that happen?
Well, I think President Erdogan is the one responsible for Syria, for the successful fight in ridding Syria of its past leader. And I think this man is responsible. He doesn't take the responsibility, but it's actually a great achievement. They've been trying to do it for 2,000 years. I said, he does it. He did it. I mean, they're your surrogates. I think you should take the credit for it. I told him, take the credit. For 2,000 years, you've been trying to take over Syria. He took over Syria, and he doesn't want to take the credit.
Took
You know,
over
all of
is a
those
lot
people are
different than
his surrogates.
assisted.
But the leader of Syria, the new leader, as you know.
Wait, does he think he's talking to the Ottoman fucking Empire? What? Okay, am I just ill-informed? Like, what? Is the new Syrian government said they're gonna rejoin Turkey after like 100 years? What?
I took sanctions off in order to let them breathe because the sanctions were very strong. But I think we should have a major announcement today. He was responsible for that victory. It was a victory for Turkey because they've been fighting, as you know, for like 1,000 years. And it never went, you know, it was back and forth, but he's responsible for that.
What does this mean for Syrian Kurdistan?
So he would have a lot to say with respect to Syria, but at his request, I took, and the request also of the King of Saudi Arabia.
Not home.
Very interesting. And Qatar. They said if you could take the sanctions.
You ever have an
we had
itch on
very
the palm
strong
of your
sanctions.
hands?
They couldn't have lived with those sanctions, and I took them off to give them a chance to breathe. But the president was one of the people that was responsible for that. He asked me to do it. I did it.
Mr. President, furloughs are very typical when the government shuts down. Why is the administration directing federal layoffs of federal workers this time around?
Well, this is all caused by the Democrats. They asked us to do something that's totally unreasonable. They never change. They want to give money.
Sorry. The unreasonable ask. We're going to be digging it. This is going to be the main subject of today. To my understanding, the unreasonable ask is to, like, keep some tax credits for Medicaid recipients? I'll have to double check on that, but it's something like that. I know he's going to try and frame it as, like, giving 1 million illegal immigrants unlimited free health care to turn them all transgender, but I'm pretty sure, I mean, from the little bit I've seen, the asks are pretty reasonable. Given that we were deciding, like, the Democrats were deciding between, do we do nothing and just fund it, whatever, or do we do a light shutdown?
Away to illegals, illegally, people that entered our country illegally. They want to give them massive federal money. And we don't want to do that because it means everyone's going to just keep pouring back. Right now we have absolutely perfect borders like you haven't seen in many years. Even better than I had great borders during my 4 years. But these borders are stone cold closed. You can only come into our country legally now. But the Democrats want to give it all away. They want to open up the borders.
Please say transgender for everybody.
Big thing. They want to open borders again after what we're going
transgender
through
for
now,
everybody.
getting rid of prisoners, getting rid of all of these people dropped out from mental institutions, drug dealers, drug addicts, everything. They're putting everybody into our country. It's all ended now. But this is what Schumer wants. This is what the Democrats want. They want to have, and they want to take our money.
Come on, he's so close. He's edging me so hard.
We're making more money than we ever have made. And by the way, we're going to take some of that tariff money that we made, just to get off the subject for a second. We're going to take some of that tariff money that we made. We're going to give it to our farmers, who are for a little while going to be hurt until it kicks in. The tariffs kick into their benefit.
Transgender
so we're going to make sure
farmers
that our
for
farmers
everybody.
are in great shape because we're taking in a lot of money. We're finding, the other day, it was very interesting, they found $31 billion. They said, sir, we found
Oh,
31.
what a
I said,
blue
"You mean
ball."
positively, right? They said, yeah, 31 million more than we knew. And they said, we don't know where it came from. I said, check the tariff shelf. They came back the following morning. They said, you're right, sir, it came from the tariffs. We've never seen anything like this. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking some money from all of the tariff money that we've taken, and we're going to distribute it to our farmers until the tariffs kick into their benefit, which ultimately the farmers are going to be making a fortune. But it's a process of, it has to kick in. All right, maybe one more.
Isn't farming something we do just kind of for fun? Like, we're not a farming economy, are we?
There was another shooting at an ICE facility in Texas yesterday.
Terrible.
Detainees were killed.
Oh no, not the anti-ice bullet. Fucking
Director
Christ.
posted on social media bullets that were engraved with the message anti-ICE.
Right.
He just posted another thing on social media saying they recovered a handwritten note from the subject that read, hopefully this will give ICE agents real terror to think, is there a sniper with AP rounds on that roof? Who do you hold responsible for the upcoming left-wing?
Wait, hold on. Hold on. What ICE shooter message? What? Did the what? Did they release them like a
Radical left rhetoric. The radical left is causing the problem.
Yep.
They're out of control. They're saying things, and they're really dumb people. I mean, I look at Crockett. I look at some of these people. They're very low IQ people, actually. But the radical left is causing this problem, not the right, the radical left, and it's going to get worse.
Just out of curiosity, I know this is a little soy, but when's the last time he's criticized a white male fucking Democrat?
And ultimately, it's going to go back on them. I mean,
Other than
bad things
Joe
happen
Biden.
when they play these games. And I'll give you a little clue. The right is a lot tougher than the left. But the right's not doing this.
The
They're
woke
not doing
right.
it. And they better not get them energized because it won't be good for the left. And I don't want to see
That's a threat.
that happen either. I'm the president of all the people. But the radical left is causing this. Radical left Democrats are causing this problem. And it gets
Yes.
worse. It
Nancy
gets worse.
Pelosi,
And
whose husband
it'll be-
was attacked by a Republican, famously. Radical left, causing all this
a
violence.
point where
Fuck up.
other people won't take it anymore, and that will not be good for the radical left, and we don't want that. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, was that anything other than, I mean, they're pushing us, we'll win, they'll find out. But they're pushing us, we don't want to hurt them, but we will, and we will win if we do. But we don't want that, we're for everybody. But just know it'll be a really bad time for them if we do decide to act up. Like, come on.
Mr. President, it seems like an indictment of James Comey is imminent. Would this be the first step in accountability for pushing the hoax of Russia, along with Barack Obama involved as well?
Well, I can't tell you what's going to happen because I don't know. You have very professional
Let me
people.
tell you, I love Schumer, I love the
headed
other
up by
white
the
guys.
Attorney
but
General,
the-
Todd Blanche, and, Lindsay Halligan, who's very
Something
smart,
like
good
that.
lawyer, very good lawyer. They're going to make a determination. I'm not making that determination. I think I'd be allowed to get involved if I want, but I don't really choose to do so. I can only say that Comey's a bad person. He's a sick person. I think he's a sick guy, actually. He did terrible things at the
On the handwritten note said, hopefully this will give ICE agents real terror to think, is there a sniper with AP rounds on that roof? Okay. I still don't buy it. I'm sorry. I don't know if I can get in trouble for that, but it doesn't. It just doesn't feel like the Kirk shooter, like, I think it was probably single issue transgender. Like, not that he was transgender, but I feel like he felt like trans people were being targeted. That might have been the motivating factor. This is just bizarre.
The FBI, and but I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay. That was that. So let me hit him with the slash marker. Ow. Turk. Okay. What next? We watched the UN thing? That was just fucking stupid and unhinged. But, like, what do you expect? Live. ICE agents under attack. Brian Kilmeade show. I don't know. Alright, hold on. Let me see what Gemini has to say about what the Democrats, the radical left Democrats, are demanding, holding the American people hostage over, according to Mr. Don. Okay. Yap. The primary sticking point in these tense negotiations is the Democratic insistence on extending the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies. What are these? These subsidies have been crucial in lowering healthcare premiums for millions of Americans, and Democrats are adamant they be continued to prevent a significant rise in healthcare costs for families. How woke, how radical, how evil.